All right, how's it? Looks like we are here starting our second stream for Chatter with Statter, 5 p.m. West Coast time on Wednesdays and on Sundays. Getting a little bit used to this new routine we're trying to get going on here. Hopefully, everybody else can remember that it is 5 p.m. So when they showed up here at 4:30, they didn't run away going, "Oh, how about no show?" No, we've got the show. It is starting. It is starting at 5 p.m. I am here. It looks like we might have one or two folks waiting in the chat room, but until then, let's get started. All right, just as I suspected, we had Darlene in the house and Rick coming in as well. Hey there, guys. Good to see you this afternoon. I hope all is well with you and yours. I was thinking we could start off today with a little bit of a rewind of what we had a few weeks ago. Such lovely weather. I figured, hey, maybe, just maybe, we can take a look-see at what the weather was like not that long ago before everything flooded away. All right, Elaine, good to see you. How you doing today? Super stoked you're able to come in. Wasn't sure if folks were going to remember the 5 p.m. Chatter with Statter, but it looks like a couple folks had it in their calendars and their reminders. So happy to see you today, you guys. Let's see. I have notes about what we were going to talk about today, and I can't find them, and I'm completely spacing. So hold on just 1 second. I'm going to leave you all with this beautiful scenery as I go figure out what in the flying fork did I do with my stuff. Oops, hold on. Let's see here. What am I doing? Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. See, this is what I shouldn't do. No, undo hide. There we go. I wanted to do this. That's what I wanted to hide. All right then. Oh no, are we starting at the beginning again? No. Oh, it's gonna be one of those days. All right, excellent. Hold on 1 sec, guys. All right, Michael Anthony Smith. All right, okay, cool. Found some of my notes. It's all coming back to me now. Goodness gracious. How silly of me. All right, here, let's get back. Maybe. Can I do it? I did it. Yes. All right, back to my face. Okay, so we've got Michael Anthony Smith in the house. Elaine came in the house. Darlene saying hello to everybody. And I am so happy to see everybody coming in saying hello. And so, hey, I was wondering, you guys, I did something today that was super awesome, and I kind of got to thinking about how stupid it was that this was the first time I ever did it. So, since the pandemic started, obviously, grocery stores have altered their situation a little bit, and there's a grocery store in my town called Fred Meyer. It's owned by Kroger, and they have a couple options, but one of them is to for you to order online, and then you just go to the parking lot, let them know you're there on the app that you have, and they come and bring it out to your car, and it's all remote billing, etc. And I never liked the idea of doing that. I don't know why. I just did not seem like the thing to do. So despite public health crises or whatever, I continue to do my own grocery shopping. Now, I would only go like once every 2 weeks, masked up, gloved up, the whole nine. I mean, I was pretty safe. But supply chain issues and lack of people wanting to work in situations that expose themselves over and over for hours on end with the public, i.e. no cashiers, results in like super long lines. Oh my gosh, they're so long. And it just got to the point where I couldn't even deal with going grocery shopping anymore. And I hadn't gone for probably a month and a half. Like, I've been living off of my cupboards, basically. So I finally bit the bullet because I needed to do stuff. And I ordered online. And I gotta tell you, I was stupidly stubborn. I cannot believe, if you've never ordered online, and if you have the capability to order your groceries online and then just go to the grocery store and they come and they put them in the back of your car and then you drive away. If you've never done that before, treat yourself. Just do it. Now, at the grocery store that I go to, it doesn't even cost anything extra, so it's not like you're even treating yourself. I mean, you literally don't have to pay for this service. So yeah, I learned something today, which is I am stubborn to my own needs. Elaine, thank you for letting me know. I will be turning down that music. Hopefully that is at a better volume. Yeah, Rick, unfortunately, the 1080p, I tried to go in and then I got scared because I started fiddling with things that I didn't really know, and it was too close to broadcast time for me to feel confident about what it was that I was doing. So unfortunately, yeah, tonight we're still stuck at 1080p. Hopefully the next time I see you guys on Wednesday, I will be slightly less sharp and precise for folks whose internet streamer can't handle the 1080p broadcast. I wish that I had thought about it earlier this weekend or earlier today, but I was out busy not going grocery shopping, and instead I just pulled up and had them give me my groceries, and it was so awesome. So, Darlene, you say that your sisters use that method and she says she likes it. You know, seriously, Darlene, I think you should try it, because everybody that I posted on Facebook that I did this, and every single person responded with, "Oh my gosh, I love doing it. I was so concerned about how well they would pick my produce, that's the produce reason seems to be like the reason that almost everybody I know had hesitated to doing it." And every single person who mentioned the produce fear and, you know, not wanting to give up their control over choosing the produce, every single one of them was just like, turns out they pick just as good as I pick. And when you do the online orders, you can actually like give little notations about whether or not substitutions are acceptable, what kind of substitutions are acceptable, or like if you say you prefer to have green bananas, or you always pick your bananas on the green side, you can make note in there, like make sure the bananas are super green or whatever. So that's what I've been told, at least, and it looks like from what I've seen you can. So yeah, I for sure think you guys should try that. So let's see here. It looks like Andre has snuck on into the chatterbox. Hopefully Andre's internet will be cooperating with him this evening. Hey Andre, how is your leg today? I know that last night you were talking about you heard a pop, which is never something I want to hear coming out of a body. And then there was some throbbing. Did the Advil help? Did sleep help? Are you okay, man? Just curious about that. Pocolo T, thank you so much for subscribing. Fantastic. I love it when folks subscribe. That way you don't have to deal with the ad at the beginning. There you go. Well, hey, Michael Anthony Smith, 4 a.m. 4 a.m. happens way too early. I definitely think that you need to go moi moi. So thanks so much for coming in and saying hi. And hopefully I'll see you, if nothing else, for just a quick second on Tuesday with Andy Boomatai. And if not, hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday for probably just another quick second. Let's see. Andre, your friend, the spinning ball, is with me again tonight. Oh, the spinning ball is with you again tonight. But you haven't had the error message yet, so that's good. Okay, well, I guess, yeah, it's as good as it can be, huh? So, Pocola T would have subscribed sooner, but you're traveling like that. Well, hey, exactly. I always say that real life takes precedence over streamer life any day. And I'll tell you what, man, I was jealous of your little traversing around the world. So, hey, Dr. Cheeseman the Fourth, you're so jealous. Your uncle just got this imported John Deere S690. That is fantastic. You know, Dr. Cheeseman, you inspired me to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. And once we're done taking this little drive, I will post up what I found on the internets in regards to some tractors. I did not grab a picture of a John Deere S690. So you might have to tell us what that's all about, but I'm glad to see you here again on the Chatterbox. And Dr. Cheeseman the Fourth, I am so sorry that I cannot remember this, but are you the gentleman who's from Sweden who grows corn and strawberries? I just want to make sure I'm associating the right name with the right folk. So there's that. Looks like Andre threw down some bits. Let me see here if I think I saw that happening, because it looks like, oh yes, 107 bits. I like that number, 107. Perfect. Thank you so much, Andre. Super stoked for that. Let's see here. In fact, I'm going to do some super stokedness just because I can. Oh, wait, maybe I can't. Yes, I can. Piccolo T, this is a neighborhood in the West Seattle Burien White Center area called Shorewood. And Shorewood is, well, it's a pretty nice little neighborhood, and it's got some pretty nice little views. And the other day, a couple weeks ago, I realized that there was some really good footage to be had. And so the day that we had the hurricane warning in Seattle, of all things, I decided to take a road trip and get a video. Now, this was before the warning happened, before we had any idea that there would be a hurricane warning. But yeah, there you go. It was a beautiful day before the almost hurricane hit. So there you have it. Okay, so let's see. It looks like Dr. Cheeseman. Yes, you are the one from Sweden. Fantastic. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure. So thanks so much for coming back in. And you know, I think I said to you the other day when you were on about how I thought it was so strange that you grew corn and strawberries as a combo crop. But then later on, I thought about it and was like, well, that's actually not strange at all, because strawberries are an early crop and corn is usually later in the season. So it makes total sense that you would be doing both. You know, you want to have two different harvest times, is what I'm trying to say. So looks like, let's see here. Okay, so Darlene, yeah, you know, I'll bet you Shorewood is a very common name for a lot of hoity neighborhoods along a shoreline, as it were. This one is along Puget Sound, obviously. So, okay, cool. E.T. Elaine, good to be lurking and just listening so much. So thank you so much for hanging out and letting us know that you're still hanging out. Yes. Yes. Andre, you are correct. Lots of shrubbery, and the French Knights would definitely approve. In fact, I'd say that we're coming up to a brick wall right here that even the most hoity of toity would approve of. Nice little brick wall with a nice little metal gate, and then shrubberies surrounding it to make sure no one can see in for privacy's sake. No, okay, I have to admit, this particular stretch of land is actually not Shorewood, so I kind of lied in my title. It's not Shorewood. It's this is the Arroyos now, which is actually in Seattle, whereas Shorewood is actually in Burien. But outside of like anybody who's on this stream and me, you probably wouldn't know it. And the only reason why you'd know it if you were on this stream is because I got a big mouth. Yeah, there you have it. That's how that works. So let's see here. Yeah, so back to being stubborn and stupid. I was wondering if anybody else has used that grocery store pickup trick. And whether or not, does it cost anything for other stores, you guys, if you do use it? Or, of course, we don't have to talk about that because, last time we had folks come in and we decided to talk about tractors. And we will be talking about tractors in just a few minutes. I promise. I promise, you guys. Yeah, it is a pretty area, Darlene. And Pocola Tea, I'm not at all surprised. It reminds you of your neighborhood further south on the Puget Sound, because what do you know? The Puget Sound, you're looking across water to other greeny islands over there. Oh no, Andre, you're getting the error message again. Not a handy dandy situation. That's not what I like to hear. Hopefully you can hang out, but if you have to disappear into the Ethernet, or because you had lack of an Ethernet, I totally understand. So, okay, so Pocola T, you've used car pickup for PetSmart. Worked well the first time, though the second time was, was a long wait after having to hunt down the sales associate for help. Okay, yeah, that would definitely annoy me. Especially since half the time that I go to PetSmart, it's like I'm in there for one or two things for the most part. I could have done this a lot quicker. Yeah, the Fred Meyer app, though, and like I said, Fred Meyer's a Kroger store, so if you guys have Kroger stores in your area, obviously I'm just speaking about the continental United States. I don't think there's any Kroger stores in Hawaii, and I'm 99% sure there aren't any Kroger stores in Europe. I don't know if there are any in Canada, but I'd be willing to bet there aren't. But either way, I'm wondering, actually, in Europe, in Canada, in Hawaii, are there grocery stores that are doing this? And like I said, does it cost extra? Because at Fred Meyer, it doesn't, which sort of surprised me. So Darlene, it sounds like for your area as well, from your understanding, it's if you go into the parking lot to pick it up, it's no charge. Right, okay, but if they have to deliver it, right, then there's a charge. Absolutely, yeah. And Fred Meyer, I don't even think delivers. They use like a third-party service called Instacart to deliver. So obviously, once you're getting a third-party vendor involved, then there's going to be extra money. So I just know that I was super stoked to literally be done with my grocery shopping in less than 15 minutes. And actually, to tell you the truth, it probably was from start to finish 15 minutes. And when I say from start to finish, I literally mean doing the stuff online, waiting in line at my espresso stand to grab a coffee before I went and picked it up. Now, granted, I did have to wait till the next day to pick it up. I can't just like order it and then pick it up in 15 minutes, but that was fine. But literally my entire, combined effort over the span of 2 days was probably 15 minutes. It's the best thing ever. Hey, Vanilla Coke, good to see you. Yes. Why are we driving? Oh, just because I figured it was, I just figured I don't know how to talk anymore. I figured because I showed, oh my goodness, words are hard. I figured because last stream I had a whole bunch of pictures of destruction. This stream I'd show something kind of pretty. So that was my method. Let's get some music started in the background here. We've got Lono. We'll be listening to the entirety of Maui Stylin'. And if the music level is too loud, definitely let me know. Let's see here. Why? Oh, what is going on? I'm not able to see all the chats. Hold on. Let me adjust my screen here. Oh, there we go. Now I can see all the chats again. Okay. So, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, thank you so much for hanging out with for part of the movie last night. It was a fun little movie. I had to go return that DVD to the library today. That was part of my errands when picking up my groceries as well. And let's see here. So, Andre, some have a D, have ADD, some have HADD. You just have buffer attention deficit. Oh gosh, I wish I had a solution to your problems, but I don't. Actually, the only solution I have to your problem, and I don't even know if it's a solution, but CenturyLink is who provides my internet. And for the longest time, I was on super crummy, literally like DSL. I mean, super crummy. But when I decided to start streaming, I had to upgrade because my upload speed time was sad. And it wasn't up to snuff. So I looked into it, and as it turned out, all of a sudden, after years and years of saying that they were going to do it, CenturyLink actually brought like their super fast high optic fiber cable-y whateverness to my neighborhood. And so for cheaper than what most people are getting for their internet, I have like, I don't know, 100 megabytes per upload second or what. I have a really, really, really fast internet speed, and I can't give you the numbers because I don't remember what the numbers are. But for $65 a month, my internet is faster at home than the fancy pants internet that we have at work that work pays over $200 a month for. That I can tell you. So perhaps, oh no, my Kung Fu lips today, yikes. Yeah, so perhaps you've got CenturyLink fiber optic high density cables available to you now, maybe. I don't know. All right, so well, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, I can see if indeed you are all those things that you listed last night about being overly nice and etc. I can see that, but I don't know you yet. I mean, I know what you say you are, but I don't know you yet. So I can't say for certain that your brother's right. Oh no. Do we have reverb? Okay, that's not good. Okay. If I do that, you don't have music anymore, do you? Okay, so I just did something, you guys. I hate it when tech does stuff like this. Okay, Pocola T said we might have reverb. And Elaine says, I hear echo. Pocola T says, no music, but also no reverb. Right. Now, I don't know why that happened this time, because, normally, when I plug in my mic after I start my Streamlabs, this doesn't happen. Yet today it did. Oh, great. All right. Well, we're not going to be listening to music until I've got another video that has music, which I do have another video, but I guess we're not going to have music because I am not going to subject you to the reverb. Sorry, guys. I wanted to have music. All right, then. Yeah, exactly, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. I only know what you tell us, and you could be an unreliable narrator, especially if you are as sneaky as Debbie is. So there you go. Option, hey, good to see you sliding on in. We are trying to listen to music, but listening to music creates reverb, so now we're not. How about? Yep, exactly. So, interesting. So it was earlier, it was fine with the music, and then suddenly it happened. Well, now that is a Menehune at work. I don't know what is going on there. Okay, well, I've got some homework to do, and I'm really glad you guys, have ears on the floor. Ears on the floor? Ears on the ground. You know, I'm glad you guys are keeping me up to date. So, let's see here. Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Debbie wasn't really that sneaky, to be fair. Everyone was kind of dense except for Wednesday. All right, well, that is true. That is true. And in case you guys are wondering what Vanilla Coke Pepsi and I are talking about, last night, Statterbox at the cinema was an Addams Family Values movie night, so that's what we were watching. And if you want to join us next week for Statterbox at the cinema, that will be 6 p.m. West Coast time on Saturday evening here on Twitch. And I believe we will be watching Elf. That is the plan of action for next week. There we go. So in the meantime, I figured we could look at a couple things. Now, Dr. Cheese, let's see here. Dr. Cheese Man the Fourth, I believe. Such a long name, so I can't remember it. He was mentioning a tractor that his friend got, but last stream, oh yeah, that's right. We're going back to the tractors. last stream, it was all about the, what was it? The John Deere 8530. And if you guys were like me, I had to know just how fancy pants this John Deere 8530 was. And so I went and looked it up. Look at that beauty. I wonder if there's air conditioning inside that inside that cab. Let's see here. So option says, I don't even know myself, but not sure how I could figure out this madness that goes on inside my scrambled brain. Well, option, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but it sounds like you're inside my scrambled brain. Yes, exactly. So let's see here. And then I know, oh dear, what a big tractor you have. That's exactly it. Look at that. So, okay, so that's that's the 85, what is it? The 8530. Now this, I don't know the model. Okay, so this one is a fairly new tractor. I think it's used, but you know, it's fairly new. This tractor, also a John Deere, also a John Deere tractor. This one is from 1939. 1939 is the year my dad was born. And so when I saw this tractor, I thought, oh, well, I'm going to screen grab that. And okay, so Darlene and Rick both say that newer one, not the old one, the new John Deere does most likely have AC. Rick, of course, and GPS, and probably a beverage dispenser. I didn't think about the beverage dispenser, but of course the GPS, absolutely. And AC, there you go. Let's see here. Andre, you can't work on John Deere's unless you take them to John Deere. They have special software. Oh, that's annoying, but that's not really surprising. My best guess is, though, this particular John Deere that we're looking at right now, I'm thinking it doesn't have special software. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm thinking it doesn't have any software, let alone special software. Yeah. And yeah, Pocola T, I think Elaine's got it. It's probably a tiller of sorts. I honestly, I don't know. I mean, you're really asking the wrong person. Yeah. So, but afterwards, after the show yesterday or whenever, Sunday, no, today's Sunday, Wednesday, after the Crazy Tractor show, Cindy Krause and I started talking, and Cindy Krause was telling me all about in her area, the San Luis Obispo County area in Central Coast, California, there's competitions for restoring tractors. And let's see here. What is it called? I've got it written down here. It is the J.B. Dewar Tractor Restoration Education Program. And these folks actually give scholarships and the like to folks who win their tractor restoration competitions, etc. So, yeah, this is a 1945 piece of farm equipment, and in theory, it works. But I can't imagine what would happen if you put that, on the field, right? I mean, that's a work of art at this point. You don't put that to work, right? Yeah, I don't know. So that's just that. So, okay, so we're getting back to this one. So this Fancy Pants one, Andre is saying they have an autopilot tied into the GPS that will drive it according to your plan of the plot that you are doing. Wow, that's pretty crazy. But for the price, they need more chrome. Nice. Yeah. And I don't know how much the this big expensive tractor is, but I do know that ones that look like this and ones that look like this one actually is currently for sale, and the 1939 one, and it's actually only like $7,000 or whatever, and it totally works. Now, when I say only $7,000, I recognize that you probably wouldn't use an old tractor like this. It's really got to be more for display, right? And so $7,000 for something that's just going to sit there and look pretty, that's a lot of money. I'm not even going to pretend that that's not an issue, but that is, it is When I was perusing the restored tractors for sale, I was surprised at how affordable some of them actually were. Now, some of them were like $79,000, and it was just like, you've got to be flipping kidding me. No, I do not think so. But this one was remarkably affordable, and all of them that I saw, they actually like ran and stuff. It was the strangest thing. I went down a bit of a wormhole when it came to tractors, thanks to Dr. Cheeseman the Fourth and everybody who came rumbling in last week talking about tractors. And that's right, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you're slowly becoming an American. You're going to hang out with the Starbucks crew, and we're going to Americanize you. We're going to give you iced tea. It's not going to be sweet tea, though, because I refuse to abide by that. And when we talk about biscuits, we're talking about the kind that you put gravy on, not the kind that you drink with tea. You know, the hot kind, because we're not going to have hot tea. We're going to have iced tea, because that's the American way. Yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Andre, no, Elaine, really, it is like the little red wagon for a grown man. I really do think so. It's kind of cute. And Andre, so you've heard that some high schools in Nebraska have a bring your tractor to school parade. Awesome. That's super cool. Gosh, you know, I wish, the guy from North Dakota was here today, whose name escapes me, and I feel really horrible. He's because I know who he is. I can see it, but I can't see it. So our North Dakota fellow, I wish he were here right now so he could tell us about his tractor experience. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, it's an inside joke with your friends that you are the most Nebraskan, non-Nebraskan. So whenever you say the inner Nebraskan is coming out, this is the context. So you're a Spaniard, a Canadian Spaniard with an inner Nebraskan. Okay, babe, that sounds good to me. There you go. There you go. Oh, okay. So there's a knockoff of what the John Deeres or some. You're kidding me. Andre, you're joking, right? The knocked off. There's no such thing as a knockoff tractor named Ed Elk is instead of a John Deere. You're kidding, right? I'm way too gullible sometimes. So, but you're kidding, right? I mean, I don't know. How do they the Ed Elks? Are they able to maneuver around jackalopes? Because I hear that that's really important in farming. You don't want to run over the jackalopes. That's bad luck. Yeah. Pocola T, do you suppose they have tractor square dancing or synchronized rolling? I don't know, but I feel like there must, like, something. Are you guys going to send me down a different rabbit hole for the next stream so we can find tractor square dancing or something like that? Because I feel like I'll bet you there's something, or like, do they play polo with their tractors or whatever? I mean, I don't even know how to play polo. So like, or baseball, do they play, you know? Oh, that's funny. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you have iced tea in Canada. Do you think you're barbarians? Well, no, it's not that I think you're barbarians. It's just that I know that, I mean, okay, look, I know a little bit about Canada. My mom was Canadian, and I happen to know that Canadians do not like ice the way Americans like ice. And so your iced tea probably has like, what, 1 cube of ice in it? That's not iced tea, my friend. That's just room temperature. That's lukewarm room temperature iced tea. When we're talking American style, full of ice. Ice, baby. Yeah, it's, I don't know if this is still true or not, but when I was a kid and we went up to Canada, it was sort of among the wait staff, it was just like, oh, they're Americans, be sure to give them a lot of ice. Like, apparently Americans like ice more than Canadians do. I don't know if that's still true or not. But apparently it was, and in my experience it was. The Canadians just like, dude, why bother putting ice in? It's like you got 2 cubes and it melts away. What? That's no ice. That's no ice. Let's see here. Oh, Andre, that's a really good question. Is the tractor beam on Star Trek a John Deere too? I don't know. Is the tractor beam green light? I mean, if it's green light, then it must be a John Deere, right? That seems logical. I know. That's funny. Um, so, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you will soon become an American patriot and have a bald eagle tattoo and a shotgun collection and ride a horse to the nearest McDonald's. So too stereotypical. Sort of, but here's the deal. You're going to need a gun rack for that horse because you're going to have, if you have a collection of shotguns, you're going to need a rack for all those guns. And some McDonald's actually do have places to tie your animals up. I'm sure in some areas of the United States. I have no doubt that they've got people who have ridden horses through the drive-thru. Darlene, you don't have an eagle tattoo. No, but you're also not a stereotype either, Darlene. I think that Vanilla Coke was just going for, we're going to have to get Vanilla Coke Pepsi an American flag bandana, I think, to wear around his head. And we're obviously going to have to get him. See, I don't think the horse is necessarily, I really feel like he needs the big raised trucks, the super with the really big tractor wheels. I feel like that would be more stereotypical. Yeah. That's how I. Okay, see, Pocola tea. That's it. Okay, so all right. So meanwhile, while Andre and Vanilla Coke Pepsi are arguing over cartons versus milk or bagged milk, cartoned milk versus bagged milk, Rick and Pocola tea are on the YouTubes going, all right, what's up here? So Rick, tractor pulls are a big thing at country fairs. I have heard of tractor pulls. I don't know what a tractor pull is. Is it sort of like a tug of war between two tractors where like they pull each other? Somebody explain to me what a tractor pull is, because I've totally heard of that. So that's obviously some kind of tractor event that they have. But Pocola tea. So there is a video of a tractor square dance at a Pennsylvania farm show. That shouldn't surprise me at all, even though Pennsylvania is not what I associate with the heart of farm country. So much Amish, and Pennsylvania is a huge state, and there is so much farming. Of course, they're going to have fancy pants tractor stuff in Pennsylvania. So, Darlene, no doubt, at county fairs, you never know what kind of competition there is. Oh my goodness, you better believe it. I mean, my sister got into a cross-stitch competition once. And I guess it's not really a competition as much as just judging. But shoot, I mean, I didn't realize all of the rules in cross-stitch. My sister apparently didn't either because she broke a lot of them. But yeah, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Yes, I did just say that Americans like ice more than Canadians. You live in the Arctic. That's true, but maybe that's why you don't. That's maybe why you don't like ice as much as we do. And when I say like ice, I mean in our drinks, silly, not in our rinks. You guys obviously like ice better than we do to skate on. Clearly, you guys like ice for sports way better than Americans do. I meant in our drinks, not in our rinks. See, I was clever there. I rhymed. So now you better get it, man. Am I going to have to stick the Prel on you? Are we going to have to stick the Prel on Vanilla Coke Pepsi? So, let's see here. Okay, so Elaine, you did. Oh, Elaine, you got me hook, line, and sinker. Elaine rode her Mustang through the drive-thru. It was a silver '69 Mustang. Love that car. Nice. Yeah, the big wheel monster trucks. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I think that Andre should drive instead of his horse fantasy. Well, Thomas the Turtle, yeah, U.S. northern states are not so over ice, even in their rinks, not just in their drinks. I'm just saying that when it comes to like going to McDonald's in Canada versus McDonald's in the United States, as a general rule, when I was a kid, You'd get way more ice in your cup at McDonald's in US than you would in Canada. Any restaurant that you went to in Canada, they'd like maybe give you two cubes of ice, whereas in America, it's just we'd like ice in our drink. Maybe that's not true anymore. Maybe America's ice habit has taken over. And I don't mean ice like meth. I mean ice like, iced tea, a refreshing beverage, things that make you go cold. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, exactly, Darlene. I'm going to do this right here. Andre, not Andre. Vanilla Coke Pepsi. You're getting some Prel, man. I'm going to hit you with some Prel because you're arguing about the ice. And I'm sure I'm right, even though I have no proof for my thesis. That's just, that's just it. Yeah, Andre, they do drive on ice in Canada. That's what the Ice Road Truckers is all about for sure. And I think one of Andy's chatters up for the Daily Pigeon Live, for those who might not know what the heck I'm talking about when I refer to Andy, Andy Boomatai. He is the host of Daily Pigeon Live, a Twitch stream and a YouTube channel. His Twitch stream is live every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. West Coast time, 3 p.m. Hawaii time, where he is based out of. And a lot of us enjoy his show, which is why I refer to Andy a lot. And that's what I was talking about with JPBC or whatever his name is. But he is a fan of Andy's show, and I can't remember what his moniker is on Twitch. But I do believe he manages an ice road trucking company. And that, to me, just the idea, that stresses me out, frankly. Yeah, that just stresses me out. Yeah, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, the only thing you know about Southerners is they physically die experiencing anything below 104. Well, that's not really true, because different parts of the South have different temperatures. The Southwesterners, though, you're totally right, dude. If it's 70 degrees out, they're in an ice cube. They are blue-lipped and freezing. Hypothermia will set in momentarily for those folks in the Southwest who are suddenly finding themselves in 70-degree weather. But people in like Atlanta or whatever, they don't necessarily have 104-degree temperatures. What they do have, though, is like 104% humidity, which is a whole other level of, well, hell. Yeah. So, really, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, with the drink thing, you're pretty sure McDonald's have bigger cup sizes in America than in Canada. That doesn't surprise me. We're the home of the big gulp, and we're the home of actually the super big gulp, which is even bigger than the big gulp. Yeah. So, yes, Piccolo T, thank you, Brian, JBCP13. There's a reason why I couldn't remember his name, and that is it. JBCP13, his name is Brian, and he manages an ice trucker, or a trucking company that does ice trucking, and I don't like it when he talks about his job, because it stresses me out. I mean, it gives me anxiety. I'm not even in the same country as his job. I have no responsibility to his company. And listening to him talking about his coordinations, it's just like, oh my God, how do you like not have a heart attack every day at your office? But, that's just me. I only deal with taxes, not people driving on ice. And taxes are stressful, but driving on ice, I'm going to make the argument that managing people who drive on ice is way more stressful than taxes. It's just how it goes. I'm making that statement for sure. Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Well, what does it mean to get prelled? That's a good question, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. It is my loving way of just being like, no, you're wrong. Prel is an industrial strength shampoo that I threatened Rick with once, and it has since turned into Well, it's turned into an emote. And so if you get prelled, it just means that you're wrong about the ice. That's what it means right now. It means you're wrong about the ice. Americans love our ice. Yeah. Andre, Vanilla, we would not know if the drink cups are smaller because we do not know the metric system unless it's about drugs. Actually, Andre, I dare say that Americans don't know how to measure. Apparently, and I've heard this a couple different places, so you guys, I feel like even though I don't know what I'm talking about, I feel like I do on this. Definitely fact check me, but when McDonald's came out with the quarter pounder, that is the 1/4 pounder, A&W was like, oh, we got this covered, bro. We gonna clean up. We gonna fight against McDonald's. We gonna put out the 1/3 pounder burger, yo. People are gonna come to A&W because 1/3 pound is bigger than 1/4 pound for people who like know stuff and stuff. But no, because you see 4 is a bigger number than 3. And so the quarter pounder is bigger. And so McDonald's won that burger war. And that was using metrics of measurement that are native to our own country. So, yeah, there's that. I don't really know if Americans are good with metric system or with any system, imperial or otherwise. I think that's what it's called, right? Imperial, what we use. Either way, we're dumb. Sorry, Americans. I don't mean everybody who's on my stream, who's on this stream, you're not dumb, but everybody else probably is. Yeah. That was obviously meant with love to my fellow Americans. But really, you guys, come on. Since when is 1/3 bigger than 1/4? Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, Darlene. When you're argumentative or naughty, you get you get smacked with the Prel shampoo. It's definitely, it's absolutely meant as, you should be lucky if you get prelled, really. You know, it just means we love you enough to correct you, right? Picola T, right? Yeah, our measurements in the U.S. are just so bizarre. It's when tall is the smallest cup size at Starbucks. Yeah, that just makes no sense. But you're right, it is. A tall is the smallest at Starbucks. Yeah, there you go. Um. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, interesting. Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Okay, so you're saying the only reason why you're saying so you're not going by the McDonald's metric, which is valid. You're going by the Tim Hortons metric, and that actually is just as valid of a metric. There aren't too many Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons, for those who don't know, is a donut shop in Canada that, from what I understand, has some of the best coffee ever. And I've not been there, so I cannot answer that question. But I do know that Tim Hortons has these things called Timbits, basically donut holes. People will run over their mother for them. They're that good. So, Tim Hortons, super popular in Canada, but also known as Tim Ho's. So if I say Tim Ho's, I mean Tim Hortons. And I've heard that we've got a couple of them in the United States now, but I've never been there before. What you're saying, though, is that the Tim Hortons in Canada serves small coffees than the Tim Hortons in America. Their small coffee is still bigger. And that doesn't surprise me because my best guess is in America, there's a certain, I think 8 ounces is like probably the smallest coffee you're going to get. And that's like a super small coffee, maybe at like McDonald's. I think 12 ounces is kind of sort of the universal, thanks to Starbucks now, the universal smallest coffee cup. Whereas I'm sure Tim Hortons probably had a 6 ounce or an 8 ounce for a small, which is very reasonable size for a cup of coffee. So there you go. Well, no, yeah, I know, Thomas the Turtle. That's fractions, not metric. That's the whole point. We don't understand metric, nor do we even understand the fractions that are native to our own educational systems. Like, we don't know metric. We don't know our own system, let alone somebody else's system. And by somebody else's system, I mean the rest of the world's, basically. um. So let's see here. Uh, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. That's hysterical. All right. So there's a meme apparently going around in Canada. Have not seen this one that says, uh, Canada, where it's like most of the world, stay 2 meters apart is the guideline for social distancing. And in America, it's stay 2 alligators apart. Well, now that's not true. I'm going to have to argue with that. You're getting Florida and America confused. I get why you get that. I am not arguing that it's a wrong. I get why your brain goes there. But Florida is really the alligator metric. Anything outside of Florida, alligator metric, probably not going to work. Louisiana might also be familiar with the alligator metric, but for the most part, the alligator metric is not American. That's Florida. Just so you know, Vanilla Coke. But that's a funny meme anyway. Um, yeah. Um, Rick, but answer this. If the metric system is so good, what are they going to call the 50-yard line? Yeah, well, I guess they could call it the 50-meter line, right? But then suddenly the field is a little bit longer. Yeah. Um so Picola T, see, you're she's got a really good answer, Rick. Like, Picola T has a really good answer. Midfield, maybe, is what we could call it. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Oh my goodness, wait, hold on. I about squirted some Red Bull out my nose. Vanilla Coke, you will forever be angry at Americans for turning Timbits and calling them Timbit holes, and also not calling Freezies, we call them Otter Pops. Okay, well, Otter Pops, okay, well, oh, so much stuff. You've got two different things here going on. First off, who in the Flying Fork calls them Timbit holes? I am on your bandwagon. I will fight on the side of Canada for this. No, they're Timbits. They're not Timbit holes. That's just stupid. That's like from the Department of Redundancy Department. That's just silly. No, no, no. Now, as far as freezies go, I don't even know what a freezie is, but if it's an Otter Pop, we call them Otter Pops because that's the brand that you find down here. And for the most part, that's the brand. And so it's sort of like calling Kleenex, even though that's a name brand, you know, and so really it's facial tissue or whatever, you know, so yeah. So I will argue in favor of Otter Pops, but I will not argue in favor of Timbit holes. That is unacceptable. So Andre, I don't think I've seen a Canadian so angry since the Americans burned down York. That was funny. Ah, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Well, we burned down the White House, so that's funny. You guys, yep, there you go. And yeah, well, no, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, your dad is totally right. The rest of the world views America the same way Americans view Florida. Yeah, that is why, I have multiple friends who have news alerts set for the phrase Florida man. And some of the best stories come out of the alerts that get dinged from Florida man. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool, Picola T. We'll see you hopefully sooner rather than later. And yeah, that's what option. I was thinking it was supposed to be only one alligator too, as well. I mean, yeah, because alligators actually vanilla Coke Pepsi, they're kind of long. And so 2 meters is really what one alligator. And so it wouldn't be two alligators apart. It would, as option says, it would actually be one alligator. I wasn't going to correct him on that option, but that is a very good point. And I totally, yeah, it would technically be, one alligator. Uh-huh. So let's see here. Thomas getting down with some truth here. Lived 9 years in Germany, had to learn the metric system. A half-liter bottle of beer is bigger than a U.S. beer. A liter of gas is more than a quart. 4 liters of gas is bigger than a gallon of gas. And a mile is 1.6 kilometers. Yes, that is true. And the thing that's so frustrating about all those things that you're saying is like, quarts and liters are so close in size. You know, I mean, like they're just, it's like, oh, we were so close yet so far away when it comes to getting our measurements right, you know? So, you learned your metric system from the rapper 2 Chainz. I don't know anything about 2 Chainz's metric system, but I do know that I had a really smart friend in high school who did not do drugs, wasn't into that at all, but he was really into math and he was really into science. And he found it so frustrating that the dumbest stoner pothead in the back of the class could convert metrics to standard, you know, like from grams to ounces, etc. in the drop of a, fast. They could do it with their eyes closed. They could do it at the drop of a hat. Whereas he would have to like take out his reference books and do calculations. He never could quickly convert one to another. And he always envied drug users for their ability to switch between the two measuring systems, which I thought was funny. I mean, it's a very strange thing to be envious about, like, that loser drug addict. I wish I was more like him because, it just, this incredibly brilliant scientific mind. Yeah, and that's what really is funny is this incredibly brilliant scientific mind just couldn't make the conversions. He just couldn't remember them. Bocola Tea, you're back with your moderately sized 20-ounce tumbler of ice water. Fantastic. That is about as American as it gets right there. So, let's see here. Andre, yes, he told you that a brick of drugs, which comes in kilos, is rounded up to 36 ounces. Okay, there you go. That makes sense. Well, yeah, actually, speaking as someone who can do those conversions in my head relatively quickly, that is exactly what it would be. It would be 36 ounces. So, there you go. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, your father also said war is God's way of teaching Americans geography. Well, I gotta tell you, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, I actually don't think that that's true. I mean, the sentiment is true-ish, but the fact of the matter is we don't know where we're bombing. I mean, I do. I like maps, but like, no, dude, like it, as far as like as a country, just because we're at war with it doesn't mean we can find it on a map. Are you kidding me? We're Americans. We don't do that in our school. Yeah, so there you go. To which Andre responds, I guess that's why we don't know Canadian geography, which is kind of true, I guess. But even if we were bombing Canada, I'm still not so sure that we would know Canadian geography. Yeah. So, yeah, I know. Option exactly. A 3-foot alligator is just a lizard. Yeah, I mean, in fact, a 3-foot alligator is a pet. I mean, this is a little baby. He's just a little cute. I know, right? Option, and they say you won't use math in the real world. Exactly. I mean, it's just seriously. They could, the story problems where it's like Jan has 4 oranges and Bob has 7 apples, and how many pears will it take to make a fruit salad if Susan comes over? or, those weird things. Honestly, I really feel like they could make some real world story problems with Jessica has a kilo of cocaine. How many ounces of cocaine does Jessica have? Like, I don't know. I feel like kids might, think and apply the knowledge a little bit better. Just give them a lesson that they can actually sink their teeth into. So yeah, option. I'm totally sure you're right. I'm pretty sure that Iraq is a small island off of Australia. That's exactly it. Might as well be, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, Rick, yeah, exactly. That's where they get you, Rick. So Rick commenting to Thomas, the metrics I can grasp. It's the money conversion on top of the metric conversion that makes you fear that you're overpaying for stuff. So, yeah, let's just keep it simple. Just have a pint. Exactly. Yeah, well, I see. Okay, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. I wish that I could say that the person that you were talking to was joking, because Vanilla Coke Pepsi says, well, with the American War thing, an American I talked to thought I was Mexican because I said I was from Spain. She thought Spain was the capital of Mexico. And I would like to think that every single person in this chat room knows how patently, horrifyingly ridiculous that statement is. And if you don't know, it is. But Vanilla Coke Pepsi, I would be willing to bet that the person that you were talking to was not being funny, was not joking, and legitimately believed that. Which is a problem. Yeah, someone once also told you to stop speaking Spanish because you're appropriating Latino culture. That is funny and problematic in so many different ways. I really, I hope that you just pointed and laughed at them and then walked away, because that's a conversation not even worth having. Oh, Pocola Tea, tell me about it. And then there's my Washington and what used to be Pocola Tea's Washington. And then there's the other Washington, two very different worlds, very different places. And, it really makes me annoyed because inevitably, whenever they refer to Washington as a standalone, they mean DC. And then, they'll add Washington State when they bother to refer to us. But it's just like, I don't know. Why do we have to have the state moniker added on as an addendum? We're Washington, they're DC. Like, don't even call it Washington. That's District of Columbia. Yeah, Washington District of Columbia happened to be the name back in the day before Washington was a state, but now Washington's a state. So you call Washington Washington and you call DC DC. Okay? And I've heard someone do this. Don't even call my Washington Washington AC. Oh yeah, Washington AC. Above California. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me here? No, they weren't. They were serious. They were like, oh yeah, there's two Washingtons, AC and DC. And they thought they were being clever. And I wanted to not let them think they were clever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. So, in DC, it's just called a district. There you go. Yeah. So why can't it be called that outside? Because that's all it is. It's not a state. It's just a district. And as far as I'm concerned, and this is right, I'm pulling rank. As far as I'm concerned, states are more of a bigger deal than a district. I mean, we have more representatives, we have more senators, we have more, which is a problem for DC. I'm not going to lie there, but functional reality is a state is way more powerful than a district, right? Right. Yeah, we've got the Columbia River, but we're not shut up, Andre. You're bringing up the Columbia in Washington and District of Columbia. You're muddying the river waters, Andre. Yeah. All right. You're right. We've still got Columbias in in our Washington state too. That's true. Um, um, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. DC does not stand for Detective Comics. No, I mean it might in comic book world. Uh, is that what it stands for in comic book world? Detective Comics? I mean, I know that there's a rivalry between DC and Marvel. Is that really? Are you kidding me? Or are you serious? I really don't know. I'm not a comic book person. Like, I feel kind of silly not knowing this. It never occurred to me that DC Comics would stand for anything, which saying those words out loud, I realize that makes me sound like a really smart person. But is that what DC stands for? Yes, Thomas the Turtle. Totally. I do remember when, so Thomas the Turtle, on June 26, 2020, the House of Representatives passed a bill called H.R. 51 that would make Washington, D.C. the 51st state, though the bill will likely not pass the Senate. The fact that this is the first bill for D.C. statehood to pass the House is significant on its own. Totally. And D.C. does need to, in regards to representation, etc. I was being glib earlier when I was all, wow, we're states are higher up in rank than districts, but we are, and DC feels the brunt of that in the sense that they don't have the funding. They're this strange vacuum of power where the residents there don't really have a whole lot of representation. The budgeting is all weird because it's not its own city. It's not its own state. It's not a city within any state. It's its own thing. And so it kind of is left high and dry. And something does need to be done about that. Making them a 51st state would be awesome. Obviously, that throws off the delicate political balance that politicians have worked so hard to maintain. But you're right, though. DC does need to get either they need to become a state or they need to get representation and funding adequate of their needs, however that happens. So let's see here. Well, Pocola Tea, exactly. DC residents will argue all day about taxation without representation. And but right, exactly. But they're not a state. And so that's the whole thing is like, well, ultimately what it boils down to is you guys really do need to become a state. And I know that the powers that be don't necessarily want them to become a state because I believe that would switch, it's assumed it would be a blue state, which obviously red states are like, well, no, they liked, we're not going to get into that. But something DC is right now, they do need some sort of help. Just become a state or whatever, And okay, so Vanilla Coke Pepsi, DC Comics actually does stand for Detective Comics. Oh, who knew? I sure as heck didn't know. I had no idea. So there we go. All right. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you literally thought New Jersey was a city in New York for the longest time and you didn't know it was a state. That's funny, and honestly, that doesn't surprise me at all. And frankly, I'm about to piss off some people. Might as well be. No, just kidding. No, New Jersey actually has got a very distinctively different culture than lots of parts of New York, but I can totally, parts of New Jersey and parts of New York are essentially one metropolitan area. And so even though it goes over two states, I can totally see how your assumption would be it's the same state. Okay. So, all right. So Thomas the Turtle is dropping even more language. Well, actually, that's not the word I wanted to use, although he is dropping language. He's dropping more knowledge. So also, the capital, according to the legislation that passed, the capital would get a name change. Instead of standing for the District of Columbia, the DC would stand for Douglas Commonwealth. This pays homage to abolitionist Frederick Douglass, who lived there for 17 years. That is fantastic. I would be super stoked to see that happen. Both symbolically with the name change, but also functionally with the taxation and funding and stuff. Yeah. And let's see here. Okay, so Andre asking, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, isn't Canada a confederacy? Vanilla Coke, dropping some Canadian knowledge. Canada is a federation and not a confederate association of sovereign states, which is what confederation means in contemporary political theory. It's nevertheless often considered to be among the world's most decentralized federations. And that is the answer, according to Google. Fantastic. I am not sure what I just said. I mean, I recognize all the words and I know what they mean, but when you put them together like that, I'm not so sure what I just said. Yeah, that's it. DC is ruled by Congress, and they need to not be ruled by Congress. They need to be ruled by like a city council and their own thing, because Congress has a very different agenda than the needs of the people who actually live in that city. And so, but that's the rub. Congress is the one who controls DC, and Congress is the one who gets to decide whether or not DC gets to be controlled by something other than Congress. So the likelihood of DC becoming a 51st state, my best guess, and boy, do I not know what I'm talking about, but my best guess is DC will become a 51st state in a larger package where like Puerto Rico becomes a state, and suddenly we go from 50 to 53 states all at once or something like that. Because it's going to be part of like a compromise deal. They're going to, I have very little faith that Congress is going to cede control over DC willingly and easily. So, yeah, I know, Vanilla Coke, we're getting political, and it's kind of breaking my own rules, but we're not really talking about, we're dancing. We sometimes skirt on the edges of these forbidden topics, and we're not necessarily talking about politics of today, in the sense of controversial current issues, but we are sort of talking political theory, which as someone who is in charge of this stream, I will allow it, but I might have to prell myself if things get out of hand. I might have to send myself to the prell factory if this was a mistake. So, so there we go. Looks like Thomas the Turtle has got some more knowledge. In 1982, it adopted its own constitution and became a completely independent country, although it's still part of the British Commonwealth, a constitutional monarchy that accepts the British monarch as its own. Queen Elizabeth II is the current Queen of Canada. Yes, I remember in 1982 when that happened. And yeah, so they're not technically officially still under the reign, but they are under the umbrella of the Commonwealth. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm not saying that I wish I was Canada, but I am saying I wish I had the freedom of movement that a Canadian passport allows you to have, because being able to travel amongst the Commonwealth really freely and easily with that Canadian passport is kind of a luxury that Americans don't have. And I have to admit, I'm a little bit jealous of all of my Canadian and or British friends who have these passports that, as far as I'm concerned, are like magic. So there you go. Bocola T, speaking of Washington State, I think the state song still is Roll on Columbia. I know that in the 80s there was a movement to change it to Louie Louie, but that never quite happened. But my question for you, you may or may not know, and if you do know, I won't know if you're right or wrong. Do you remember what version of Louie Louie it was they wanted? I want to say it was the Kingsmen, but I could be wrong. And this is getting into Pacific Northwest historical minutia that I'm sure everybody is thrilled to death to hear. But there was a song called Louie Louie. A bunch of different bands covered it for a while. Washington State was considering making it its state theme song. It never passed the legislature. And now here I am, like 40 years later, wondering which version of the song it was. So there you go. So, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, honestly, it's a huge fear of mine that America just invades us randomly and you become an American. The likelihood of that happening is pretty slim. That being said, once we once we start going to war for water, which we will, everybody will. Canada will have to secure its borders from the United States, Russia, Norway, everybody basically. Canada's gonna be a prime target one day because you got the water, and fresh water is, well, at this point I think a little bit more valuable than oil. Let's see here. Okay, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, this is a very strange question. You've completely changed gears. However, I happen to know the answer to this. So we're going to talk about this for a second. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, is breast milk okay for vegans to drink? I have no clue why this just popped into your head. My friend, welcome to my brain. I don't know why it popped into your head, but I understand that it might have. So, vegan babies can have vegan breast milk from their vegan moms. Obviously, breast milk is an animal product, but it's also designed to be transferred from the mom to the baby, right? So, most vegans that I know who are moms, who have breastfed, obviously they eat a vegan diet. Their breast milk is technically not vegan, but it's as vegan as it's gonna get. And consequently, vegan breast milk from vegan moms is actually in really high demand because not every woman, vegan or not, has nothing to do with whether or not she's vegan. Not every woman can produce enough breast milk. So I have a friend who's a vegan and a lawyer. Not that that matters, but it kind of does. She's busy, is my point. She produces so much breast milk that she pumps it and freezes it and then donates it. And her vegan breast milk is actually like in high demand because finding vegan breast milk, which I know that's an oxymoron, is very difficult. So, is it vegan? It can be-ish, technically, to answer that question. Yeah. Andre, yeah, we will stop. We will stop it. We will stop this conversation about veganism and bodily fluids. Let's see here. So yeah, let's start a new argument. Is the Kool Aid Man the juice or the jar? I think he's the jar, dude. I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, so, well, Andre, I guess you're probably right. The Kool-Aid guy is the juice and the jar. That makes sense. I mean, I guess, it's sort of like asking, well, what's the human, the skin or the blood, right? I mean, you kind of need both. So this conversation just got weird. Yeah, there we go. Rick, and as a little kid, it was just the foil packet. Exactly. That's right. Kool Aid Man is the sugar buzz in the living form, and that's why he breaks down walls. Pretty much, yeah. Or actually, let me rephrase that. Oh, yeah. See, Thomas, that's what I thought too. Kool Aid Man is the pitcher. I think he's the pitcher, but I also think that Andre brings up a good point that really, because I guess, okay, so we're really talking about this. All right, so Thomas, I agree with you in theory, except for suddenly I realize, hold on, wait. The Kool Aid Man is always red, right? So, like, if I saw a Kool Aid pitcher man walking down the street who was yellow or orange or whatever other different color Kool-Aid, that Kool-Aid makes, I don't know if I would. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying these words. I don't know if I'd really consider him the legitimate Kool-Aid Man. Like, he might be the Kool-Aid Man's cousin or his brother, but that's not the Kool-Aid Man. The Kool-Aid Man is red. So using this logic, I guess the Kool-Aid Man is both the juice and the jar, right? Are you picking up what I'm laying down, you guys? Because because this is a conversation that we might need to be under the influence of things for, man, and I am not. So let's see here. If you if the Kool-Aid Man has no juice in his picture, then then is he a Kool-Aid zombie? Well, now these are really good questions, and I guess my next question is, would green Kool-Aid be would Kool-Aid zombies, they would be green, or would they be green Kool-Aid, or would it be an empty pitcher, right? So Thomas the Turtle in 1974, arms and legs were added, and Kool-Aid Man was introduced as a 6-foot tall pitcher of cherry Kool-Aid. Right. So see, he's cherry, right? So like, what if, now I happen to love Kool-Aid lemonade. But if I saw a Kool-Aid pitcher full of lemonade walking down the street, I don't know if I would think of him as the Kool-Aid Man. I can't, you know what I'm trying to say here, right, guys? Like, in cartoon world, I guess, because I don't expect, if I saw a Kool-Aid Man walking down the street, I would definitely have to check what medicine I took in the morning and make sure it was the right pills. Yeah. Exactly. Yes, Andre, the philosophy of the Kool-Aid Man. I know, right? Picola tea. Exactly. I think we need to maybe be drunk or stoned to answer these questions. Exactly. Yes, well, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, yes, we are nothing but little puppets at the fingers of the puppet master. You just successfully made us argue about a jar of sugary juice. That is the whole point of this this silly little chat show, We were talking about politics for half a second and got a little too deep into that. We were talking about random veganism and stuff, and now we're talking about whether or not the Kool-Aid Man is the jar or the juice, and whether or not he's the red juice or the orange juice. Well, not the orange juice, because we all know that that's a separate thing, but you know what I mean. That's exactly, we got to see where the chatter scatters here at Statterbox with the Statterbox crew, and that is exactly why we're having this conversation. Let's see here. Yeah, exactly, Elaine. The chatter really can get scattered. This is exactly that's kind of the whole point. It's, bring up something ridiculous and let's talk about it. Because we did get into, for a half a second, we were bordering on legitimate political theory. And while it is important to understand legitimate political theory, chatter with statter is not the place for this discussion. I mean, I think we all know that I know enough to be dangerous, so let's not get into stuff that actually could start World War III. We're going to talk about Kool-Aid Man instead, okay? All right, Thomas, what are you saying? Time Magazine included the Kool-Aid Man on a list of the top 10 creepiest product mascots, saying our biggest gripe with Kool-Aid Man, why did he have to cause such a mess every time he entered the scene? Well, Thomas the Turtle, see, as a kid, that was never in question. Making Kool-Aid, drinking Kool-Aid, pouring a glass of Kool-Aid, anything with Kool-Aid makes a huge mess. So you get red lips and you get sugar spills and you get everything. So the fact that he made a mess is actually like probably the most truth in advertising you could possibly get, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's my argument though. So, let's see here. Whoa, okay. Yeah, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, This, what you're saying is probably true. And Jimmy Kimmel, I'm not sure if you've watched, there's a late night talk show hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel's funny, but he's got a segment that I absolutely cannot stand. It makes me cringe so hard, where he just goes out and talks to random people on the street, asking them some of the most mundane, boring questions that everyone should know. Questions like, which is bigger, 1/3 of a pound or 1/4 of a pound, right? So the fact that there was once a guy walking around America and told them that Canadians' Parliament building was made of ice, and most Americans believed them, there isn't anything about that statement that I think is a lie. I absolutely, even though you're not telling me who this was, you're not telling me what show this was on. Yeah, you're right. Somebody did that, and people did believe him. I have 100% faith in what you just said is true. Yes, that's true. And Rick, that's right. Kool Aid Man is always full of ice, which says to me that Kool Aid Man is American. That's right. I said it. Kool Aid Man is American. He's got ice. Let's see here. So Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you feel like the Jimmy Kimmel things where he goes on the street and asks people are staged? I actually don't, unfortunately. I mean, dude, I wish I had as much faith in humanity as you do, but I actually don't think so. And one of the reasons why I don't think so is because the last time I watched that segment, they asked this one like hippie dude. Oh gosh, I cannot even remember. Oh, the question was, can you name anyone who's won a Nobel Prize? Right? And I mean, I can name a lot of them off the top of my head. So they asked this one like super stoner, dreadlocked hippie dude who looked like he couldn't find his weed pipe if his life depended on him. Dude, he was able to list off like 8 different Nobel winners or whatever. And the guy behind the camera actually said to him, wow, man, way to go against the stereotype. So, I mean, I think it's staged in the sense that they very specifically pick people who they think won't know. I do think it's staged that way. But as it turns out, most people don't know and legitimately don't know, but some people apparently do. And I really liked that one where he was like, well, didn't Obama and wasn't Einstein and didn't, he just reeled off all of these Nobel winners. So that one was so cute. Let's see here. Well, yeah, actually, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, I actually thought okay, so Vanilla Coke Pepsi says 7% of Americans thought that chocolate milk came from brown cows. I don't really know if that's true because I feel like I've read that it was actually a higher percentage of people who thought that. Yeah. Bacola tea. Yeah, right. You used to think that brown cows made chocolate milk too when you were 4. Well, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. See, there you go. Marie Curie was actually one of the people that this hippie dude named as well. And, and all they were asking is one. They were just asking one. And it didn't have to be in science. It didn't have to be in whatever. It could be a Peace Prize. It could be the science. It could be the math. It could be any of them. And there are a lot of people, like most presidents. I think George Bush won a Peace Prize once. Honestly, you can name almost all the presidents, and I think they've all gotten one. Almost all of them, not all of them. But yeah, there you go. Oh, dude, Rick. Rick, okay, so you just found a container with 8 Kool-Aid packets unopened since the mid-'80s. Anybody want them? Yes, I don't, but somebody does. Seriously, old Kool-Aid packets, are the vintage unopened ones, especially, there's people collect them. So you need to go on eBay and go delve into the rabbit hole of that scene. And if you've got like a limited edition flavor or oh my goodness, that was the package of the strawberry before the major remarketing design in, 1983 or whatever. Seriously, dude, like you might be able to sell those packets for actual money. I mean, like, maybe not like $250 million, but somebody might actually give you like $20 for one of those packets, which is sort of stupid. But dude, because 80 since the mid 80s, dude, that's, I mean, let's not do the math, but those aren't new, right? So I encourage you, Rick, to go on eBay and yeah, check that out. Okay, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you're throwing down with actual footnotes to support your thesis. Washington Post source says 7%. Okay, cool. Well, I like your number better than what I was thinking, so there we go. There we go. So yeah, awesome. Let's see. Vanilla Coke Pepsi throwing down some real Canadian truth, which is we are literally just America, but with free healthcare, and it is actually kind of depressing that our only form of naturalism and cultural identity is that we are better than the United States. Yeah, something to be said for that, my friend. But, you know, hey, you do have a little bit better things going on than the USA in some ways. So, the whole healthcare thing comes to mind. So there you go. Let's see here. Yep. Yeah. And Thomas the Turtle actually is throwing down some very serious knowledge, which is as of 2021, Canada has a population of 37.7 million, and the country's population grew by over 1.7 million between 2011 and 2016. That's 5 years. That's a huge amount in 5 years. And it's immigration accounting for more than 60% of that increase. Canada has one of the highest per capita immigration rates in the world as a result of strong economic policy and robust safety nets, such as universal health care. Very true. And even United States economists know that economic growth is always hand in hand with immigration. And to stymie immigration is to put a muzzle on your own economic growth. So Canada is actually, with their immigration policy, doing some pretty amazing forethought with what they want their country to be, whereas we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot with what we're trying to do by decreasing the immigration in our country. And I think we might soon be feeling some economic shrinkage because of those policies that have been in effect for so long. That being said, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just am quoting other people who are way smarter than me. So yeah. So, oh my. All right. So it is 6:32, which means we probably should wrap this up now that we've discussed tractors, colonial politics of Canada and the United States, vegan breast milk, and the all-important discussion, which really, this is what we all came here for, Kool Aid Man. Duh. Yeah, I mean, that's why we tune in. It's for things like Kool Aid Man. And I think we've decided that Kool Aid Man is definitely a little red man, and therefore it's got to be the juice and the jar. And yeah, so there you have it. It's the juice and the pitcher. That's the Kool Aid Man. I've decided. But the yellow Kool Aid in the jar, that's his cousin. We're not going to talk about him. His name's Julie. Yeah, that's right, Julie. It can be a boy's name in Kool Aid Man world. Oh, that's right. And don't forget the ice. Right, the all-important ice, American ice. And I don't mean ice beer. I don't mean methamphetamine. I mean the kind that you put in the Kool Aid Man pitcher. That's right. All right, so Cola T's got my back. We're talking about ice and Kool Aid Man. Excelente. And on that note, I guess I'm just going to have to say, oh, yeah. And thank you so much for hanging out for this miscellaneous and silly conversation today. I'm super stoked that we all got to hang. Hopefully I'll see you on Tuesday, Daily Pigeon Live with Andy Bumatai, 5 p.m. West Coast time, 3 p.m. Hawaiian time, 8 p.m. East Coast time. And if I don't see you on Tuesday, I hope to see you Wednesday. That's right, Wednesday. It is the new day for Chatter with Scatter. No, Statter with Chatter. No, Chatter with Statter. I can't even say my own show's name right. Too many words that rhyme. That's right. So 5 p.m. Wednesday. Let's see where the chatter scatters. Until then, have a phenomenal week. Catch you later.